What if you could never grow old and stay young and beautiful forever, but in return, you'd have to lose your true identity? That's exactly what happens in today's story, where a girl goes to unimaginable lengths to stay young and beautiful forever, crossing every boundary of humanity. She fulfills all her desires through her beauty and youth, but the outcome of her obsession is something that will send chills down your spine. And our story begins with a strange scene. We see a strange experiment. Someone injects a green liquid into an egg, and within moments, that egg splits into two. Then, the scene shifts to a group of people creating a star called Elisabeth Sparkle. Elisabeth is an extremely beautiful and famous model who also hosts a popular show. When this star was first made, crowds would gather around it, taking selfies because fans truly adored Elisabeth. But over time, people's interest in that star began to fade. And eventually, the star even broke, yet no one cared to fix it. It was a clear sign that people's obsession with Elisabeth had started to die out. Next, we see Elisabeth dancing during a shoot. It's her 50th birthday, and her age has started to show on her face. Still, she continues to host the same show. After shooting ends, she walks toward the restroom, but since the ladies' room is closed, she enters the men's restroom instead. There, she finds the show's director, already inside, talking on the phone. He says, "Elisabeth is getting old now. I need a younger, prettier girl for my show. Her age is bringing down the show's TRP ratings, so she needs to be replaced, no matter what." Hearing this breaks Elisabeth completely. The beauty she once took so much pride in now felt like it was fading away. She stares into the mirror, closely observing her face, and runs her fingers over the wrinkles that now mark her once youthful skin. But Elisabeth wasn't the kind of person to give up so easily. She goes straight to meet the director, but the director clearly tells her that he can't help her and that she should understand what the audience wants to see in the show now. He says the beauty that once made her shine is exactly what the show needs, and she no longer has it. Hearing this, Elisabeth becomes even more heartbroken. As she leaves the hotel, she loses focus while driving and meets with an accident. But she's lucky. Despite the serious crash, she doesn't suffer any major injuries. The doctors discharge her from the hospital, but she breaks down crying, deeply hurt inside. On her way to the hospital earlier, she had seen her posters being taken down, which made her even sadder. After a quick check of her spine, a hospital attendant hands her clothes back. When she steps outside the hospital, she finds a note in her pocket, probably left there by that attendant. The note reads, "This changed my life," and with it is a flash drive labeled "The Substance." When she gets home, she immediately plugs in the flash drive. A video plays, describing a magical green liquid called the Substance. It explains that if this activator liquid is injected into an elderly person, it can create a younger version of them. But there's a catch. Both bodies must remain active every 7 days. The old body produces a serum in the spine because of the activator injection, and that serum must be injected daily into the new body to keep it stable. Meanwhile, the old body stays unconscious. At first, Elisabeth thinks it's all fake and throws the flash drive into the trash. But that night, as she looks at her old photos, awards, and then at her reflection in the mirror, regret consumes her. So she calls the company's number and says, "I want to order the Substance." The man on the phone doesn't say much. He just asks for her address, then gives her a secret location and hangs up. The next morning, while Elisabeth is reading the newspaper, her eyes catch an ad that says they're looking for a beautiful model between the ages of 18 and 30 to replace Elisabeth. Seeing that makes her furious. Along with the newspaper, she also finds a black envelope with the number 503 written on it. Without wasting any time, she heads straight to the secret address mentioned by the company, a quiet and secluded place. Moving ahead, she enters a secret locker room and uses her card to open locker number 503. Inside, there's a box. She takes it and returns home. When she opens the box, she finds several items inside. First, a green-colored activator liquid, meant to be injected only once. Then, a stabilizer kit, which must be used daily to stabilize the young body. The stabilizer serum, however, has to be extracted from the spine of the old body. Along with that, there's also a special kit to switch between the two bodies and a refill kit that works like food to keep the senseless body alive. After that, Elisabeth goes to the bathroom and looks closely at herself in the mirror. She wonders if she should really go through with this. After thinking for a while, she finally injects herself with the activator liquid. At first, nothing happens, but then suddenly, she collapses and intense pain shoots through her body. The next moment, her back starts tearing open and her eyes split into two. Then, something magical happens. A young and stunningly beautiful woman emerges from within her. It's no one else but Elisabeth herself in a brand new form. Looking into the mirror, she can't believe that the substance actually worked. After admiring her reflection for a while, she stitches up the old body's back and attaches the refill kit to keep it alive. She kept thinking all night about how all this happened. The next morning, when she woke up, she noticed blood coming out of her nose. That made her anxious. Then she remembered, to keep the new body stable, she had to extract serum from the spine of her old body using the activator kit and inject it into the new one. Her head started spinning, so she quickly took out the kit and completed the process. As soon as she injected the serum into her new body, she returned to normal. Now, this new version of her looked even more beautiful than before. So, she got ready and went to audition for the same show from which she had been rejected. When everyone saw her beauty there, they were impressed. Even the director came over and selected her. But this time, she introduced herself as Sue and made up a story that her mother was sick, so she'd have to leave the city every week. In reality, she needed to switch bodies every 7 days. The director agreed to her condition and gave her the job. After that, she started showing off her beauty and quickly gained a huge number of followers. Soon, her ads were running all over the city. After 7 days passed, it was time for her to switch bodies again. Her old body would remain active for the next 7 days. She used the shifting kit to switch and then attached the refill kit to the new body. Later, she went to the office to meet the director. He gave her some final gifts and told her she didn't need to come to work anymore. Although Elisabeth felt a bit upset, she knew she had already achieved everything she wanted. The next day, while reading the newspaper, she received another envelope from the same substance company. Inside, it said that her new refill kit had arrived. She went and picked it up. Another 7 days passed, and she switched back into Sue again. Now, she wanted to live completely in this new body and even travel sometimes. So she decided to hide her old, lifeless body at home. She began breaking one of the bathroom walls and, after spending a lot of time, built a secret room. Then she took her body there and hid it inside. But there, she sees an old man who starts talking to her in a strange way. Elisabeth notices that he has the exact same mark on his hand as the compounder she saw in the hospital. That means this was the older version of that compounder. He says, "7 days in an old body feels really long. Has your new body started eating you yet?" Hearing that, Elisabeth gets scared and quickly rushes back home. Now, she just wants to live happily in her old body. So after thinking for a while, she calls one of her old college friends, the one who once complimented her a lot after meeting her and had even given her his number. She gets ready nicely to meet her friend, putting on makeup and dressing up well. But just when she's about to step outside, she notices posters of Sue hanging outside. The moment she sees them, she loses all her confidence. She ruins her makeup and everything because, compared to Sue's beauty, her old version felt like nothing. Thinking about all this, she starts feeling miserable in her own body. Because of the depression, she eats a lot and falls asleep. Then we see that Elisabeth had switched bodies and it was time for her show. But while she's dancing during the shoot, a strange hump appears on her back. Seeing that, she gets confused and takes a 5-minute break to go to the restroom. Trembling, she tries to get it out, and to her shock, it's a piece of chicken. Right then, she wakes up and realizes she was dreaming while her body was switching. Then, when she gets back to her room, she remembers that her older version had eaten a lot of chicken and food earlier. Later, when she arrives for her show, she sees the crew packing up the shooting equipment. They tell her the show has been canceled. So she goes to the director and he tells her, "You're not doing this small show anymore. You'll be hosting the New Year's Eve show." with 50 million viewers watching you. Hearing that, she becomes extremely happy and agrees without thinking twice. But that show was scheduled for the same day she was supposed to switch bodies. But ignoring all that, she keeps extracting stabilizer serum from her old body and continues living in the new one for many days. This, however, starts affecting her old body. After a long time, when she finally switches back, she discovers that due to taking out too much serum, the old body has become extremely aged. Seeing her condition, she panics and calls the company to ask if there's any solution to this. If she can get back the body from which she took out the new version. The company replies, "You were already informed before, nothing can be changed. If you want, we can stop everything here and send you a termination liquid. But your old version will remain in its current condition, and you'll have to live the rest of your life like that." Hearing this, Elisabeth refuses. But she starts hating Sue. Basically, she starts hating herself. Because in her greed for beauty and youth, she couldn't control herself, and now her original body had to pay the price. Out of frustration, she begins overeating and even covers the glass window in her house where Sue's posters were visible. Later, Elisabeth gets a call from the show, so she immediately switches bodies again. But her older version had eaten so much that the house was in a total mess. This makes Sue furious. She extracts 3 months' worth of stabilizer serum from the old body and stores it. For the next 3 months, she enjoys her youthful body to the fullest, going to parties, having fun, living the high life. Soon, the day arrives when she's about to receive an award at the New Year's Eve show. But just one night before the event, her stabilizer serum runs out. That night, she had also brought a guy home. When she goes to extract more serum from her old body, she finds none left. Suddenly, her nose starts bleeding, and she feels intense pain. Panicking, she quickly calls the company to explain what's happening and asks what to do. They tell her, "If no serum is coming out, that means you've already used too much. To get more serum, you'll have to reactivate your old body." Meanwhile, Sue's condition keeps getting worse. Somehow she manages to start the body switching process, but the noises from the switch are heard by the guy in the other room. Feeling suspicious, he walks toward the bathroom to check what's going on. But by that time, she switches bodies. After that, the old Elisabeth quickly rushes over, shuts the door, and scares the boy away. Here, we see that Elisabeth has become extremely old and ugly. After staying in one place for 3 months, all her hair had fallen out, and even moving around had become difficult for her. Panicking, she calls the company and says she wants to stop everything right there. The company agrees and tells her to collect the termination liquid. Somehow, Elisabeth covers herself with clothes and goes to pick up the termination liquid. When she returns home and is about to inject the liquid into Sue's body, she remembers what the company manager told her. "If you inject the termination, you'll be stuck in this body forever, just as you are now." But in anger, Elisabeth injects half of the liquid anyway. Then she suddenly remembers that she's about to receive an award at a major show, where millions of people will praise her beauty and success. Because of that, she doesn't finish the injection and starts trying to wake Sue up. After several failed attempts, when Sue still doesn't wake up, Elisabeth quickly takes out the body switching kit. As she begins to activate it, Sue suddenly wakes up, but this time, both versions of her activate at the same time, and they're shocked to see each other. Just then, Sue's eyes fall on the termination injection, and she gets furious. She realizes that Elisabeth was planning to destroy her forever. Enraged, Sue attacks Elisabeth and beats her so brutally that Elisabeth ends up dying. That's when Sue realizes she's just killed her original version. Now she wonders, where will she get the serum from? The scene then shifts to a grand New Year's Eve show. Sue is dressed in a stunning outfit and is being prepared to be presented on stage. But in the middle of it all, Sue starts to feel strange. She rushes to the restroom, and suddenly one of her teeth falls out. When she touches her mouth, a few more teeth come loose. She realizes that since she doesn't have her original body, her new one is starting to fall apart. That's when she remembers. The activator injection might help her create a new version of herself. She immediately runs toward her house, but as soon as she reaches the elevator, one of her nails and even an ear fall off. Terrified, she somehow manages to reach home. As soon as she injects the activator, she collapses to the floor. After enduring immense pain, a new version of her emerges, one that's a horrifying mix of Sue and Elisabeth. Its face is twisted, half one side, half the other, and it can neither speak nor understand what's happening. Somehow, it sticks a photo of Elisabeth's face onto its own and applies makeup over it, then heads to the show. When her name is announced on stage, she walks out in front of everyone. The audience thinks Sue is just wearing some kind of costume. But as she approaches the mic, the photo on her face slips off, revealing her real face underneath. Everyone starts screaming in terror and runs for their lives. In the chaos, one man smashes her face with a baseball bat, shattering it into several pieces. Horrified, the remaining people fled the scene. Then we see the broken pieces of her body crawling across the floor like insects. Eventually, her face lands on Elisabeth Sparkle's star on the Walk of Fame. She looks up at the sky and smiles one last time before melting away completely. The next morning, a janitor is seen cleaning the area, and that's where this story ends. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section.